Caddo Parish Commission special meeting for June 25th to order. Roll call, please.
Dominic, Johnson,
Present.
Williams,
Here.
Lynn,
Present.
Bowman,
Present.
Baker, Gage Watts, Escadade, Thibodeau, Cox, Smith, Jefferson.
Here.
We have a quorum, Mr. President.
Okay. Commissioner Bowman, would you do the invocation, and Commissioner Watts, would you do the pledge? Please stand.
Heavenly Father, we come once again with bowed heads and humble hearts. God, just thanking you for this day, Lord. Lord, we ask that you, and we thank you for having mercy, Lord. Lord, thank you for grace and mercy that you extend upon each of one of our lives every day, God. Lord, we thank you for that. Lord, I ask that you allow this meeting and every meeting that we have to be both progressive and productive and pleasing in your sight, Lord. And let us always remember why we are here, and that's to serve the people. These are the blessings we ask and thank in your Son, Jesus' name, Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
If you would turn and face the flag with me and render the proper salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
Under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item, Ms. Clerk.
Move to citizen comments.
Okay. Well, we have no agenda this week.
Right.
All right. Citizen comments. Citizens who wish to address the commission must fill out a comment card and forward it to myself or the clerk of the commission. Have a few cards. First person up is Mr. Roger Richardson. Give us your name and address and move over to the mic, please.
Roger Richardson, 1261 Wells Island Road, Shreveport, Louisiana, zip code 71107.
So,
Supposed to talk under the ordinance public hearing? Shouldn't he?
Here to talk about the ordinance.
He said you can start, sir.
you can start.
Well, I don't really have much to say. I just pray that y'all will see a way to help us get going again like regular tax-paying citizens. If a lot of people on the road are like me, they really don't have the money just to get going again on their own. They'll either have to borrow it or get one from get some money from some other source. But I would like to believe that the funds we put aside for disasters will be used to help us get going again. If there's any assistance I can be to anyone on the road, I'm available. I'd just simply like to get restored like I was and carry on. Tax-paying citizen. Been on that road since 1998 when I bought the house. During all that time, there's been no problem. I pay taxes every year. I've carried on like a citizen. That's what I wish to do again. Y'all will give me the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rich. Next person is Mary Smith.
My name's Mary Smith. I have a house at 1254 Wells Island Road and 1234 Wells Island Road, 71107. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I got a couple of questions. Somebody give me an answer. First, how come the governor hasn't risen to the occasion so that we can get some FEMA help? I don't understand that. My federal representative has somebody here today. We don't understand why there's no help up here in North Louisiana. So my understanding is there are funds available for this type of thing. I understand about budgets and so forth and so on. Most of the people on the street are not like me. They're not working, they're old, they're elderly. I further understand that they are also in hotel rooms provided by the Red Cross, but that money's running out. So these retired elderly people lived in these houses their whole life. Sometimes their parents had the house and now they have them. So we further understand that they're going to be pitching tents to live in on their streets. You all can't let that happen. A person that age who's paid their dues shouldn't have to live where there's no bathroom and there's no kitchen. This is the United States. So we further understand the buck stops with you. So we need you to stand up for these people. Those of us with jobs, we'll get it all built back and, you know, that type of thing, because we love the Red River. We don't want to leave the Red River. We like it there. So these people need help. And this group here, they're on the street. This is your multi-agency nonprofit referral center, the Baptist group. These people are angels. Everybody needs to write them a donation check. They are actually in these homes these people grew up in, taking away the terrible, filthy mud and all the ruined insulation. This street is a washout. Now I know what that term really means. So these people are here today because that's what we elected you for, is to help us. Most of the time we don't need help, but they need it now. So we need a plan, we need some action. We understand you can't just get to the street and start handing out checks. It doesn't work like that. You end up with chaos. So we need a plan, and it needs to happen pretty quick because some of these people don't have anywhere to go. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Moon. Next person is Marie Richardson. Okay. All right. Beverly Hubbs.
Talk about phones.
Yes, if you have cell phones, please silence your cell phone. Thank you.
Hello,
Give us your
my name
and
is Beverly Hubbs, and I live at 1253 Wells Island Road, Shreveport 71107. I'd just like to take the time to thank you all for being here for us, and I'd like to ask and pray that we can work together and that y'all can help us. I'm disabled, and as the lady said before, several of the people on the street have been there for years. I've been there for 5 years, and the river is beautiful. It has become our home, and we're just asking that maybe you'll consider helping us and build back what we've lost. We've lost it all, and I just want to thank you for being here.
Thank you, Ms. Hubbs. Next person is Cullen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Cullen Clary. My family been on Wells Island Road since 1948. My dad built a home at 1229 Wells Island Road. I have 3 properties on Wells Island Road, 1205, 1203, and 1201. My son is a challenged child. Me and him shared 1205, which I own. And when my mom was alive, there was a fellow down the street that had an old junked up, trashy, burnt down trailer, so I bought the property from him. And just about the time I got the property cleaned up, 2 homeless people come up to me and said, "Mister, if you'll get us a place to live, we'll stay where you till we're dead." Well, last year the man passed away. This year the flood forced this elderly lady to go, and the other couple that was in the other rental also. Now, I thank y'all for the dumpsters and the services that the commission has provided for them dumpster trucks. They are rolling around all day long. We thank the Southern Baptist people coming in and cleaning that nasty, filthy, germ-infested mess up. We have a problem with getting electricity. You call an electrician, and it's a community, it's a mass chaos, and I know this is a new deal for all of us. You call an electrician, he tries to call the city and get a permit. There's a breakdown somewhere. Next breakdown, it's a simple one, is getting this Red Cross voucher to get the $250 to help. My son rode home with his aunt that lives in Tennessee, and that's where he is at this time. And I think the mosquito control truck's been through there one time, and that veteran is still on that bank of that river. And any help y'all can show us today would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Clarity. Next person is Patrick Fricks. Give us your name and address, please.
My name is Patrick Fricks. I reside at 1249 Wells Island Road. My father-in-law, the one up here a while ago, Roger Richardson, he also lives there. They've been there for years. I hate to see that their life's in the mess that it's in, having lived in Bossier. As far as Red Cross goes, I asked them to put me in a room. They said they didn't have the funds. I counter-reacted to that, called another church. They hooked me up with St. Vincent de Paul, the same people that gave me that $50 gift card at the meeting we participated in Bossier. And they said that we're not really supposed to do this, but we're going to go ahead and pay your room up for a week. That's paid up until Monday. At that point in time, the only thing I could figure out was go live like Gilligan's Island back over there. And I think from what everything's been done with the dumpsters, and from what I read about the receptacles, if everybody pulls them out, blow dries them out a little bit, and the electrician flips on the electricity, then everybody can take their own chance of burning down their own house at their own discretion. But until then, I think a couple of service poles put up out there for us to have immediate electricity, because a lot of people can't afford generators. And it would be easy for some people to get water on, or get their wells working, and have at least a light to go in there to see how to clean their place up. And I hope God is overseeing the whole show here, and I think if we put him first, we might get some results. That's all I got.
Thank you, Mr. Fricks. Next person is Michelle Davidson.
Michelle Davison, American Red Cross, 805 Brook Hollow Drive, 71105. I want to thank you guys for letting us come before you and discuss some of the relief that is needed. The American Red Cross has been out meeting with families, and in particular some of you guys I know, trying to meet the needs that are out there. And we've been able to do some level of assistance. You know, we've been able to do the basic immediate emergency needs for a lot of these families that have been affected throughout Caddo Parish and our other affected parishes. But there are still gaps that do need to be addressed, and that the Red Cross doesn't necessarily have funding for. And there are things like being able to pay for an electrician, minor building repairs, extra rent for a long-term lease. You know, we can usually do, in some cases, depending on the damage and the need, we can do things like a first month's rent, but we can't do much 2 through 6. We can't do a longer-term lease. If the landlord won't waive a deposit, we're not able to do the deposit and the rent. So there are gaps that do need to be addressed. One of the things I would ask you to consider is that from the Red Cross perspective, we actually would like to work through a third-party group, such as the Caddo Community Action Agency, because for Red Cross, we can't offer assistance to somebody in Caddo Parish that we can't also offer in Bossier. And so we want to make sure that for our purposes, that we don't discriminate against someone because they live in the wrong zip code. And we have people affected from Caddo and Bossier all the way down to Rapides and Avoyelles. Natchitoches right now is incredibly hard hit, and that's our next big concentration area. So that is one thing that I would ask you to consider, is that we have some fantastic community partners here who do a great job, and by working through them, we can actually get some of these gap needs met. And we've worked with groups like the Caddo Community Action Agency to make sure that we've identified how to specifically address the type of damage that was sustained, whether it's a major or a destroyed home, and what gaps that the Red Cross has scene talking to the families that need to be addressed so that we can make sure that they have the most complete recovery possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Next person is Ms. Paula Hickman.
Good afternoon. I'm Paula Hickman. My address is 401 Edward Street, Suite 105, Shreveport 71101. I'm the Executive Director of the Community Foundation. And first, I want to address you who have lost so much, and our hearts go out to you. Your community cares about you very much, as witnessed by all these wonderful people standing up here, and there are others out in the community, Michelle, somewhere, I saw him here and now he's gone. People who are working in the nonprofit arena, make sure that y'all.
Ma'am, you need to turn back around this way.
I'm sorry, I was really addressing them, and I apologize. Oh, I'm sorry. As you can tell, I don't come to y'all very often. I'm not looking for any money, but I did want to bring you up to date on some things that are going on in the nonprofit community that I think you need to be aware of. Ms. Smith already has referenced the MARC, which is the Multi-Action Resource Center. There was one yesterday at Southern University. There will be one tomorrow from 3 to 7 at Mount Canaan, and one on Saturday from 10 to 2 at Mount Canaan. This is an opportunity for people who have been affected by this disaster to find out the resources that are available to them currently. And we have many, many nonprofits in our community who are serving. I began to create a list of out-of-pocket expenses that all of the nonprofits have been undertaking in this effort. The Goodwill, the Salvation Army, obviously the Red Cross, we have a whole list, Catholic Charities, and our challenge as a community, because I'm a funder too, not to the extent of what y'all have, but what I have available, I want to make available to help in this area. But we have to be coordinated. Back in 2005, when we had Katrina, we brought the funders all together to decide how best, everybody kept their own money, but everybody decided best where the needs were. And what we're facing now, we've got short-term needs that need to be addressed immediately. People need decent, clean housing, a place to stay, and food to eat. And that is our number one priority, has to be our number one priority. But there's also a long-term component. I'm sorry Bonnie Moore from the city of Shreveport could not be here. She's out of town. But she is working with HUD to create a long-term solution for housing as well in Caddo Parish that we all need to kind of work together on. So there are short-term needs that we've got to address, but then there are also the long-term needs. And I want you to know that we're here to stand with you to help if you wanted to create a protocol by which nonprofits can ask for money, because they are out there serving even as we speak. And I think we need to take a holistic view so to make sure that all our bases are covered. Thank you again for all that you're doing. I greatly appreciate it on behalf of our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Hickman. Next item.
Next, we move to public hearing on ordinances. Ordinance number 5497 of 2015, amending the budget investment revenues and expenditures for Reserve Trust Fund for the year 2015, providing an appropriation of $1.5 million to the American Red Cross to assist flood victims.
Public hearing on ordinance number 5497 is now open. Is there anyone that would like to speak in favor of this ordinance that hadn't spoken already? Is there anyone that would like to speak in opposition of this ordinance? Public hearing on ordinance number 5497 is now closed.
Next, we move to ordinance for final passage. Ordinance number 5497 of 2015, amending the budget investment revenues and expenditures for Reserve Trust Fund for an appropriation of $1.5 million.
Sure, you recognize.
Michael.
Chairman, I'd like to offer substitute motion if I can get a second.
Second.
Thank you. Chairman, I would like to make the motion that we move to request the City of Shreveport to waive $35 electric fee, allow funds for electricity inspection by electricians, appropriate up to $750,000 to be utilized by the Caddo Community Action Agency and the Red Cross from the Reserve Trust Fund for 2015 for the river disaster relief on properties that experienced minor or major damages and were destroyed in Caddo Parish.
Second.
Let me just say that
Hold on. It's been moved by Commissioner Williams, seconded by Commissioner Epperson on the substitute motion. Now we'll, the question. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just, I don't want to, we done heard from the public outcry from the citizens. We heard from the nonprofit organization who wants to offer public and private partnership. We hope that the good Lord would prick the conscience and the minds of the commission who sits on this horseshoe and be compassionate and support the causes of our people that live in our city. This is a humanitarian effort to try to offer some relief to those that, for no reason of their own, had a catastrophic situation. It's unfortunate that it happened on Wells Island Road and other parts of the community because it easily happened anywhere in Caddo Parish. I hope that that we would support this effort. I pray that that the organizations who have the partnership would follow the protocol and utilize the resources where the design go to. We want to make sure that it get to the Caddo Parish citizens where it can be more effective with the people in Caddo Parish. So I hope that the chairman that we would support this substitute motion which came out of the committee, appointed by our chairman who's done an outstanding job. It was recommended by the committee that we come up with a formula and a compromise for Democrats and Republicans together and independents to try to find some common ground to address this historical event. It's uncharted territory that we never had been in before. This is the first. And hope that if it does happen again, we'll be prepared in the future. So it did come out of committee, and we hope that we'll support the recommendation of the committee. Thank you.
Commissioner Thibodeau.
Just ask for a friendly amendment that included in that would be that these funds were to be spent on those people who were on the FEMA assistant list.
Yes, sir. I accept that motion.
All right,
Accept that amendment.
and I've got,
I accept that amendment.
okay, and I've got another amendment. Do I need to wait, or?
Yes, since that was a friendly amendment to that. Then you want to add
Well, I've got
another one.
another friendly amendment. Or I'll wait for it.
I mean, is it tied to this or?
Pardon?
Is
Go
it
ahead.
tied to
He
this
still
or
has
is it
the
something else?
No, it's tied to the
Go ahead and make it.
substitute motion.
Okay.
Go ahead, you have the floor.
Substitute
Go
motion.
ahead.
You have it.
Go ahead, I'll do it later.
Okay. Commissioner, we still in questioning. So you had a friendly amendment to add the FEMA
Yes, that the
list.
funds be for those people
ones
on
that's
the
on the
FEMA
FEMA
assessment list, right.
Right. Commissioner Cox.
Push your button.
Cox.
Okay, I didn't know what he was talking about. To the amendment to begin with, I don't have a problem with it, but the fee, you have two different fees, one for inside the city, one for outside the city. These would be, we would waive the fee for.
Caddo and,
Caddo.
thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Caddo was already gonna be waived from the last meeting.
Well,
you want it
the
in?
amendment didn't read that.
Okay.
Okay, so, you know, we might.
We add Caddo and City Street.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir, for the fee. Now, I've talked to leaders, I've talked to some of the commission, I talked to our president earlier. If we didn't learn anything from South Louisiana, when the Katrina and all that happened in New Orleans, Mary, you came up here and you asked where our governor was, and you asked where the assistant was from the state. Well, they have a quote, they have a guideline. And to my knowledge, Mr. President, we didn't meet that guideline, did we? Or did we?
We have on.
We did meet it. So as of today, we met it.
On public assistance, we made it.
Okay. On public assistance, somebody define, so these people that are sitting here today, give me a definition of public assistance under this emergency.
Okay, public assistance is basically what the government spends. The city, the parish, what they spent in order to hit a certain dollar amount. For the parish, it was $907,000. We've actually went $8.3 million.
Correct.
So we passed what we were supposed to pass on that. We also have individual assistance, and in the individual assistance, that's the one that still is in question. We've had, let's see,
I can tell you, you talking about the
40
total?
yeah, we got
You had
40
three that still have,
45 homes
yeah,
that are major or destroyed. In one of the EOC meetings, they said basically the number was around 50, so we're a little short. We don't know if the federal government is going to say that the 45 will be okay. We don't know yet, so we're still waiting on that.
and y'all bear with me, because what I want to do is get y'all the fastest possible response to this situation. Because we wait on the federal government and we wait on the state, I'm afraid you're gonna be waiting until next year or the next flood. And I don't think you need to wait that long, okay? Wait a minute.
Excuse me, you have to be
Ma'am,
quiet
this-
until we...
You can't do it now. Just trust me, we are on your side.
Amen.
We are on your side 100%. I just want to do it the quickest way to get to it. Now, the electric, is there any way we can work in, Mr. President, I guess I'm directing most of this to you and to our administrator and our attorney, as far as why can't all the electricians, you turn the phone book and certified electricians that are in this city, in this parish, we cannot get electricians out to these houses and get them up and running. We have SWEPCO here today. I understand that. What is the deal? This is red tape at its best.
Well, I think most of it...
Well, now, wait a minute. The administration just said it's actually money. So explain to me where the money is.
We can't compel private businesses to work for free. They want to get paid for their services.
Okay, so in turn, that goes back on the FEMA, where we have to turn in something, or...
We're going to provide the immediate funding for the
provide the
electrical service.
Okay, so on an average, how much is electrical service to be inspected and turn, or get to the point to be turned back on? Would that be Mr. Hubbard's question?
He might can answer it, I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
Is he getting up?
Yes.
Come on, brother. I don't want to put you on the spot, but you know, we just need to...
Since you're on the spot.
I need to introduce myself. John Hubbard, 428 Travis. I'm with AEP SWEPCO. And this is not a joking response.
No.
It's how big is big. How much is in the house, how much is damaged.
Sure.
I've heard people who say they've been through floods in typical houses, they have to take out the sheetrock up 2 or 3 feet. What's in those outlets, what's in whatever electrical facilities, did the breaker box, so.
Exactly.
Rewiring the whole thing.
Safe than sorry.
Sir?
Safe than sorry.
Oh, yeah, and that's why, that's exactly why the guidelines are as they are.
Right.
That an electrician comes and looks, and they do give their educated guess and opinion, not guess, and then they get with the electrical inspector, who then goes out and looks at the facility, and I think sometimes the electrical inspector has, good catch, has been told that it was clear, and it may not have been the electrician or that company that said that, but in that particular case that I heard about, when they got there, they realized that nothing had been repaired, and so they obviously didn't give us the go-ahead to energize our facilities toward that. So I, a dollar amount, no, I can't. But I know there's a lot of wire in a house, and there's a lot of electrical facilities in the house, and to go through and inspect all of those, or unplug whatever's there and see if the rest of it will take power, that just takes a while.
It takes a day.
Well, I'm on a 1,500 square foot house. You could probably get close to it in a day. Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. You may want to sit close.
Okay, I'll be right back here.
So we got electricians that, if given this money, legally, can we give vouchers to the citizens to hire an electrician, because here's my way of thinking. I'm not gonna I don't wanna give them what they need and get it to them yesterday. But I don't wanna be like people down in, Kenner, who was told they can get something and given stuff, and it wasn't worth the paper that was printed on.
Nope.
Okay? I don't want to do something wrong the first time. My daddy always told me, you get it done right the first time, you don't have to worry about it down the road. So let's get it right done the first time. I want to know what we can give these people, or to the people who are affected. You got 14 totally destroyed off this paperwork here, 27 major, 17 minor. Okay, so we got a lot of stuff to worry about. The way I look at it is, and Mr. President, I appreciate all the work you've done, because if y'all don't understand what he has done over the last 3 weeks, he has worked his regular job and stayed up probably late at night doing this. So I applaud you for that. Now, I respect you for that.
True leader.
Truly. That's just not smoke. We need to understand that if Wells Island Road is basically our pinpoint right now. I think everybody agrees with that. Generators, the administration, we can get water tanks out to certain areas when they need water. I know there's big generators that we can do floodlights, we can do electricity to these houses and to neighborhoods, because they do it in third world countries. And you can't tell me there's not big generators around in this area or in the architects that we can't go get. This is a disaster relief emergency. And I've listened to all the pros and cons. These people are asking us to give them help. I understand what's in front of us today. My goal is to either approve this or find a better way, to me, quicker way to get this job done. We have more water coming. Y'all are aware of this. We have our experts looking at this every day. We're looking at Oklahoma, Texas, and the water and what it should be, because every day it should be gained a foot through this last one. So they really didn't know. My goal here today is to find out, could we do this better on our own? Okay? We have the technology, we have the people, we have the one lady came up here and says the money should stay with the people who give it, and it probably get done, quicker to the citizens. In effect, she said that. I believe in that. Once you give this money off to a nonprofit, it gets lost, in my opinion. The definition of needs gets lost. These people need lumber. They need sheetrock. They need their electricity turned on. They need stuff that's got to be here today, not tomorrow. It should have been done last week, or even started last week. I'm interested in what went on in the meeting room when we took them back there last week, besides a voucher to stay in a hotel room one night or a week. What does that give these people who are needing something now? If they're able to go in there with generators and get that neighborhood to where they can have lights on the inside and repair their houses, rip stuff out, get it ready for inspection, clean the mold, do whatever they need to do quicker than giving this money to I was going to say NGO, but another entity that's going to have to go through their red tape. I don't see that. I see this as we got people here, and I'm going to name them all. I got Robert, I got Ken, and I got Tim, thank you. We have the ability to do all the audits. Somebody comes up, like Mr. Cleary, comes up and says, okay, the Red Cross, and I've been audited as this is what I need to work with my house. Well, what says I can't put up in North Camp sheetrock, nails, duct work, electrical conduit, anything that they need, and we give it off to them. And guess what? They're not waiting a week for it to be delivered. They're coming back up here. Okay, this is what you need. By God, this is what you're going to get. That's what I'm talking about. We can sit up here and say, well, if we give it to them, they'll do all this. I'm sorry. I want to do this. I want to make sure these people get what they need tomorrow, or at least by the time we can get the paperwork done as far as what they need. Bring it to us. We look at it, we mark it off, and we give it to them. If y'all can think this plan here is going to be quicker, vote that way. But I can tell you what, you ask them, this way is the best way. And it doesn't cost as much. But it gives them what they need now. So I'm gonna sit back, I'm gonna listen, just like I told Mr. President I would. If it goes that way, make sure these people get taken care of, not today, not next month, but now. And I really do feel for you guys. And we're at a point now where y'all can't ask any questions. It's just us now. So let it be known that I feel your pain. We all do. I wouldn't want to be in y'all's shoes for nothing, because I don't know if I could take it. But I can tell you that if it's up to me, we will bend anything we have to do, bend the rules. I know my attorney over here, I love her to death. She's probably just, you can't do that, can't do that. Right. But this is a time where you have to say, okay, if they vote on it, we'll do it. So, Mr. President, I'm going to give back the floor because I ain't got my glasses on, but I can count a lot of people up there.
Yeah, you do, and your time has already expired.
Oh, there is no time limit on this. Not today.
Commissioner Lynn.
I'd like a point of clarification on the motion. I know that Caddo Parish can waive the fees that Caddo Parish charges, but are we proposing to pay the fees that the city charges, or simply asking them?
Asking them to waive the fees, and I talked to the mayor yesterday, and she said the city will waive the fees.
Okay. Oh, that was it. Thank you.
Commissioner Dominic, see, I'm working all the time.
You're a man.
What is, I mean, I got several questions. Whatever funds that we give out, are we expected to get reimbursed?
There's a possibility that we can get 80% of our money back from the federal government.
But that's not 100% sure.
That's correct.
That's correct.
And what is the deal is that what the stuff you were talking about a while ago was regards to public assistance? You said that, is that kind of all tied in together?
Yes.
And we have been qualified as public assistant, but not sure for individual assistance.
Right, it's two different plans. You have an individual assistant plan and a public assistant plan.
Who came up?
Met the criteria for the public assistant.
What? Who came up with the list here with the minor, major, and destroyed?
This list came from the FEMA assessment. This is the complete list. I just simplified it for you because it correlates.
Okay.
It correlates exactly to this.
Do we know exactly what our funds will be used for? I mean, I know that in your amended motion, you were kind of going straight. I'm trying to hear it was up to $750,000, asked for the inspection fee to be waived. What was the other things that you were asking for, Commissioner Weed?
The electrician, to pay for the electricians to come in to test the plug
Okay.
assessment.
So what will all of our funds, do we know exactly during this motion? Yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Temporary housing.
Okay.
And we're still working on some of the things that Commissioner Cox brought up. If it's legal for us to do, we don't know.
Different items to spend
Right,
funds on.
like materials for hauling or reconstruction for those major damages. The ones that's destroyed, I mean, those either gonna have to be built up from the scratch or they gonna have to have a new trailer put in.
I guess these people are entitled to some federal funding, FEMA funding, that's what all this
Only
goes
if they
on.
meet the individual assessment, and we don't know if we're gonna meet that yet because we didn't hit the 50 homes.
Is there anything we can do to help facilitate to make sure that that gets met?
We're doing everything we can possible.
Okay. What are the main things that they're needing right now? Because I'm not out there living, and I'm like Commissioner Cox, I feel for these people too. But, you know, obviously they were near the Red River, what they said, I guess the east side of the levee. Obviously, I'm just assuming most of them did not have flood insurance. I wouldn't think they would. Do we know that?
No, it's on this list. No flood insurance.
Okay. And, I mean, if they're losing their houses, lost their house, one of my concerns is with, I don't know if we need to start building stuff or doing something right now, if there may be additional flooding coming along in the coming weeks or coming days.
Yeah, but they can start the recovery process.
Right.
So,
And I guess the other question, I just have a problem sticking out that $750,000 or up to $750,000. I'm all for waiving those inspections. I think that those are something that needs to be done, but I don't know if we need to get into sheetrock and building and things like that, but it seems like the main thing that they do need is the assistance for electricity to get out there to make sure that their homes can be turned on again. And I guess what we're ended up saying is no one's going to go out there. They don't have the money to hire a private electrician to do that. And I guess those fees vary from home to home.
right, depending on the size of the home and the electrical plugs that they have inside the home.
I'd like to help these people, but I just don't know to what extent, and don't have any exactly hard numbers, and understand that we have a lot of houses that have been destroyed, and we have a major and minor. I understand that. Let's see what else I have. And of course, all of this stuff that we're talking about today, I'm learning as we're talking about. Have the shelters, any of the shelters been opened that these people?
Shelters are now closed. All the shelters are closed.
How come? They just closed them down? Because they didn't have the funds to keep them open and let these people stay in, or
Well,
what?
because most people, when the initial flood happened, they moved with family and friends.
Okay.
They didn't go to the shelter. So
Okay.
they're with family and friends now. Well, this is gonna take longer than what they even dreamed about, because with the major damage, I mean, you have to take all the sheetrock out.
Sure.
You can't turn electricity on until they check all the plugs. They don't have the money to do all that, so they had to catch. They can't go back into their homes, and they can't stay wherever they're staying at for an extended period of time because they don't have the money for that either. And you still got a house note over here as well that you got to pay. So, I mean, where's all that money gonna come from? So what this is basically gap funding to help them to stay in a place that's temporary place until this one is fixed. They can still be paying the house note over here. We're helping them rent over here. So basically, it's still a hardship on them, but at the same time, we're assisting them.
We know most people do have a house note. I would find it hard to get a house note if they don't have flood insurance.
Some of these are probably have already been paid for. I mean, the government did change the process that if you do stay in the floodplains and you're paying a note, that you got to have flood insurance.
Right.
So if someone was already paid for, then they didn't have to have flood insurance. Or if you was at an elevation in which was supposed to be at a high enough elevation, then, you could opt out on flood insurance.
So we're also talking about providing the money to lease some property.
Right.
And I think that she said that we were working with, I guess, Bonnie Moore to try to get some housing.
Yeah, that's what the Red Cross, CCAA, and other nonprofit organizations would do, is to go out there and find these low rent places for us.
Okay. All right, that's all I have right now. Thanks.
Commissioner Bowman.
He's gone.
You stepped out. Okay. Commissioner Evans.
Call for the question on the motion. Get a second.
I second it. Yeah. Everybody's needs been met. I second it. We vote on the calling of the question. That passes 7-3. Now to the substitute motion with the friendly amendment of making sure that we have the list of FEMA houses that's on there that we're talking about funding.
Repeat that?
You repeat the motion.
The motion is
To waive
Let the clerk
$35,
take it. Let the clerk read it. You're supposed to have it.
waive $35 electrician fee for both City of Shreveport and Caddo Parish, and appropriate up to $750,000 to be utilized by CCAA and Red Cross on FEMA assessment list for funding.
Caddo Parish only.
And Caddo Parish.
Caddo Parish only.
Yeah, both of them. His friendly amendment was at the end of the FEMA.
Okay.
Then the city and the parish. So, everybody good with that? No question?
Got to be.
We got the question. Call for the question already.
Yeah.
So, we got to vote.
Do the right thing.
That passes.
Move for adjournment.
Move for adjournment.
No, that does not.
Wait a minute.
No, it doesn't
Those
pass.
funds,
Yeah.
It's not
Well,
a,
that's
it's gotta have
eight
8 votes.
Commissioner said reserve trust in his, when he stated it.
And that's not enough.
Gotta
It
have
wasn't
enough.
in there, but you did say reserve trust when you made your
Reserve
motion.
trust.
I did say reserve trust.
Yes, and
You need
that-
fails
you need
in.
8 votes.
It said the reserve trust fund 2015.
It fails in.
Right, you need 8 votes.
Wait.
Need 8 votes to
Well,
get
can I
money
make
out
an
of it.
amendment and get out of order?
Takes
We need
2/3
this money and
vote
it
to
needs
get
to
money
be
out of the
done.
reserve trust fund.
I can't believe y'all.
The reserve trust was read.
Mr. President,
It was
point of order.
red.
We've already adjourned, so you need to bring us back in.
Okay.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
get,
start
I'm
again.
continuing this.
Call this meeting back to
But
session.
don't go nowhere no more.
Help these people.
Yeah, he adjourned.
Everybody had their chances.
So now we're back. Thank you very much.
Was it,
Question.
I don't know.
Commissioner Cox.
Question is, where is this money coming from to make sure that we fund it?
It was read.
No, wait a minute, Mike,
Go ahead. You have the
because
floor.
I'm being told back here, there's not enough funds where you want. So we're gonna have to amend it,
Anyway.
correct?
No.
Okay, so somebody explain to us where this money is.
You said reserve trust fund.
Okay.
Ask the commissioner, for your motion, where did you say you wanted the money?
Well,
to come
even in the original motion, when I first said it, was written by our attorney.
And it said
It said the
reserve
reserve trust
So,
fund
do we have the
2015.
money?
from? Yes, we have the money in
Okay,
reserve
well, I
trust.
knew we did, but I kept hearing y'all saying,
No,
where?
the question is the vote.
Okay, so it takes 8 votes to get it out of the reserve trust, correct?
Fails.
Okay, so that failed, so we need to either redo it.
We'll have another motion. But get on the board if you're gonna make a motion.
But,
Commissioner.
well, wait a minute, I ain't done yet.
Okay, I thought you would.
No. Now that we're back in, I can ask the question I was gonna ask is, okay, this money goes to the CCA.
And
Correct?
Red Cross as well.
Okay. Love the Red Cross, but.
CCA is gonna be the third party
There you go.
administrating the funds.
But I wanna know is, because I wanna, every time we come up here on, every 2 weeks, I wanna know what has been spent and what lives have been changed here. Because I'm gonna tell you what, just like I said earlier, and I made my point very clear, we're here to help these people get their lives back. Wait a minute.
Well, I was gonna tell you something.
Yes, sir.
In our committee meeting, Matthew made the point that we have a point of when we get to 150,000, that we get an update on everything.
Well,
Every time we hit 150,000, 300,000, 450,000.
it'd be nice to know that.
I'm gonna vote for it, but I
Okay. That's what I wanna make sure these people are getting what they need.
Okay.
All right.
Commissioner Thibodeau.
Where are we, is anything on the floor right now?
Right now, no.
I'm gonna make a motion again, if I can,
Well, wait a minute.
We
Thibodeau
got
got the floor.
the Thibodeau and Fraser.
I just had a couple of amendments that I wanted to put, or questions. And I spoke to the Red Cross the other day, and here's what I understand. I spoke to Michelle Davidson at the Red Cross, and the way that they were gonna handle it is, number one, she said by the middle of next week, they should have gotten paperwork filled out on all of the people on the FEMA assistance list, this list right here. And so that they would have determined their short-term and long-term needs, all right? And she told me that food and clothing was being given to everybody that needed it, that was not a problem because of all the different agencies that were a part of this response team, this multi-action response team. So the food and clothing was not an immediate problem right now. She said that the Red Cross was able to fund for 1 month temporary housing. And so I said, well, of the people that are on this assistance list, how many would you guesstimate would have to go through the third party, Caddo Action, Community Action, to get other assistance that they couldn't get anywhere else? That's what we were really trying to get. People who couldn't get assistance from anywhere else would then go to the Caddo Action Group, all right? And she thought that there'd be about 20 to 30 people on this list. Now a lot of these people whose houses are destroyed or have major damage, it's not going to do any good at all to have an electrician go out there because they can inspect everything, but if there's nothing to inspect, they're not going to be able to turn their electricity on. About the only people that will be able to get electricity will be those people who had minor damage, and maybe those that were affected, but their house is still habitable. Those people need an electrician for sure. And then possibly some of the people with major damage. But we can't expect the electrician to go out there and completely rewire a house. What we're looking for is an electrician that will go out there and say, all right, if we do this, this, and this, then we can clear you to have your electricity turned on. And that's what we need done right now, immediately. Because unless I was told wrong, everybody's got food, everybody's got clothing, and now I saw one gentleman that came up here and he was concerned about temporary housing after Monday, but it was my understanding from Michelle that everybody had the first month. Is that correct?
Michelle, if you come on up to the microphone. Say so,
That is not something that is just uniform, that's done automatically, but based on the casework and the amount of damage for each family and the specific needs that we've identified with each family, that is one of the options that's available for them, yes.
But if they've been recognized on here as having major damage or destroyed, would it be correct to say that the first month of temporary housing is paid for?
Not always, no. And I'll give you a perfect example. If we have, and we do have some families that have flood insurance, and so they wouldn't have that need for us to pay a first month's rent because their insurance company would handle that.
Okay, anybody that does not have flood insurance or some other agency paying for it, then that would be the person that you'd want to immediately send to us or our third party. Correct. To get some help right as soon as possible.
And if they have identified that need for the additional housing as a need, that is something the caseworkers will work with them.
All right, so what we have
is... It is a first month. We can't do beyond that.
Since the Red Cross will have filled out paperwork on everyone, they kind of act as a gatekeeper and help to identify where people can get, if they can't help them and there's nobody else that can help them, then maybe we can help them. And that's what we're looking to them for. And then they come to Caddo, I can't remember the whole name of that thing.
Community Action Agency.
The Action Agency.
CCS.
And then they come with a specific need. And then as long as it's not illegal for us to give them that help, then we can give them that help. So what we're looking at, I think, immediately is for those people who have a chance to get their electricity on, if they can just get an electrician out there to look at it, then that's something we need to do. If there's somebody who needs housing, then that's something we can do immediately. I think food and clothing has probably been given to everybody. And then once we reach the point of repairs, then we would need to set a limit on what we can spend on repairs. We can't rebuild people's houses.
No.
And we can't buy brand new trailers, but we can pay up to a certain level of repairs so that they can get back in their property. And then if the feds gives them funds, then we can get those funds back and put back in our account. So we're just looking to give gap immediate help. And we could have already helped people if the amendment would have passed last week. We were here. People would have already gotten help. So I didn't really have a problem with the substitute motion, but I did have two areas that I wanted answered. And one is I wanted to be sure that any money paid out is paid out on a detailed invoice. And if it was, I don't want an invoice that says Home Depot building supplies. If they got 12 pieces of sheetrock, I want it to say 12 pieces of sheetrock. And then, as, I wanted to have also and if the substitute motion gets made and you accept these, then I'm fine with that. Where Mr. Lynn had asked our committee meeting that, at the rate of every 150,000 that we get a report on where we stand.
Yes, sir.
So the 200, if we're looking at 20 to 30 people, at $750,000, that's allowing almost $25,000 to $35,000 per person. I don't think we're going to be spending that kind of money. So that's why we need to have those updates. And I want us to be sure that if this passes, that these people get immediate help if they can't get it somewhere else. And I want to be sure that nobody else goes to the Community Action Agency and asks for help from us. They've got to go, they've got to be sent there by the Red Cross, since they are the gatekeepers. The state will have filled out an application on everybody. All right? So if those can be incorporated to the...
Yes, sir, I accept everything you said.
Okay.
Accountability.
Then I'm happy with it.
Caddo,
I'm happy too.
Are you done?
Meeting help.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Ms. Fraser.
We can't, say
Commissioner, the only comment I had was, actually why you needed the 8 votes. I think you all have cleared that up, so.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Davidson, you can sit down.
Thank you.
Commissioner Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to, again, move to make a motion, if I can get a second.
Second.
I move to request the city of Shreveport to waive the $35 electric fee. Allow, allocate funds for the electrician inspection by electrician and appropriate up to $750 be utilized by the Caddo Community Action Agency and Red Cross from the Reserve Trust Fund for 2015, a Red River disaster relief on property that experienced minor damage, major damage, and was destroyed only for Caddo Parish citizens that are on the FEMA list. Secondly, there would be a accountability up to $150 be reported back to this commission. What was your other amendment? And a detailed invoice. And a detailed invoice outlining those that are needed. Appreciate it. I will hope that we have collectively worked together.
Get your second then.
Yeah, she seconded. I will hope that we collectively have worked together. We compromise on the things you felt that's important. We've been very inclusive.
You got a second?
Yes, Gates.
Storm engagement.
And I hope that our colleague would just vote and we can start immediately helping them when we vote. Thank you.
There was a motion by Commissioner Williams and seconded by Commissioner Watts. Okay, y'all working. Commissioner Dominique.
Call for the question. No, not a call for the question. A couple of questions, and I like the way we're getting back onto this a little bit better. Where did we come up with the $750,000? Did we just plug that out of the?
Well, I asked for 1.5.
I know you did.
Because I think you needed a number to start with where we can compromise on. So that's how we came to that, not knowing what may happen in the future regarding FEMA, regarding the state. I felt that it's our responsibility to effectively do something than to sit back and do nothing and just wait for more disaster.
And it's not 750, but it's up to 750.
Up to 750.
As long as we have some good mechanisms to control this, and I guess we can live with that. Because I just don't see, I'm like Commissioner Tibbetts, I think one of his concerns would be, if we're just talking about 20 houses, that you're not talking about, it shouldn't be $750,000, nowhere near that. Because I don't know, do the math, what do we say, $30,000, $40,000 a piece? So I was just number's just a big number to me. So, but I like the fact that we're kind of getting back on track to try to do something to help these people, rather than just up and leave and walk out of this horseshoe today without doing anything. I'm done right now.
Thank you, Commissioner Cox.
One thing that I would like the administration and this horseshoe to figure out is we need a point of contact from Caddo Parish that, say, 10 days from now, they're still sitting here and they still ain't got nothing done. Who do they call?
Sure.
They can call me.
Good enough for me.
So they've been calling, huh?
Pretty much. Okay. Finished?
I'm finished.
Okay. I guess I'll say a little something. For Commissioner Dominic, one reason why we came up with 750,000 is because from the list we had 62 houses. Didn't know exactly what the needs of those 62 households would be. So basically, if you do about $10,000 to $15,000 around on an average, you pretty much cover the $750,000, and you wouldn't have to come back. So we wanted to have a number that we wouldn't have to come back and do this again. So if we manage the money, we put the caps in place for the minor, the major, and the destroyed, we should be able to live within the means of the $750,000. And as again, this is only gap funding. This is not this funding that this is going to be true in it. This is gap funding. You know, if FEMA decides that we meet the individual assessment, then they will kick in some funds. And they have a limit up to 32.5 for major and destroyed. So that would be some additional money for them to use for that as well. We have, I guess, we're making a motion, but we can't be all inclusive into the motion, because what we're going to be doing is working with the cooperative endeavor agreement in order to make sure that the things fit into that the right way. And I will be working with our attorney to make sure that it's right, what we wanted, the things that everybody is saying before is even presented to CCAA and the Red Cross. This is something that, to me is very important, because we got people that's in very much need. I mean, it's them today, but it could be us tomorrow.
Amen.
Or somebody else that we know.
I say that all the
time. They're trying to find, they got all these worries in their head about, where I'm going to stay, what I'm going to do, this and that. And if we can just relieve some of that trouble off their minds, I mean, it's short term, and some of it is long term, but we're not talking a year, we're talking a few months to get in there. And I think Commissioner Thibodeau, on the major damage, some of these houses that I actually looked at, and they classified them as major damages, some of the ones we're talking about, where the electrician can come in, because the water went above the plugs, but the house is not damaged. It might have had about 2-3 foot of water in it, and so basically you got to go in and cut all the sheetrock out and insulation, and then do the electrical check. So I think a lot of those fit into that category. So if we can put them in temporary housing, pay for the electrician, and then get them rolling, and they get electricity back into the house, and once they get that done, I mean, you probably can move back into the house while the house is being remodeled. So that kind of works and gets them back into it quickly as possible. So I just think that, we need to just look at the greater need of the people that we serve in the parish, and make sure that we try to help them as much as possible. Don't worry about the dollar amount of $750,000. I mean, we're going to put things in place that will work, that are going to satisfy the necessities of the people that need the help. It's not nothing that we're going to start writing checks out to individuals. We're going to be doing this the right way. Commissioner Bowman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a question and a statement. The question is for Attorney Frazier. I was wondering, how long will it take for us to get the cooperative endeavor agreement ready?
I can tell you better once I looked at the motion that Mr. Clerk has prepared. We will get that ordinance prepared, and we'll have the cooperative endeavor agreement ready to go within a couple of days. I've already spoken with Ms. Davidson and Mr. Guidry on some of the matters.
Yes, ma'am.
So we've got a lot going around, and I would need to speak with them a little bit more, but it should not take long.
I have a point of information. Do we have to come back and vote on the cooperative agreement, or is it going to be okay to just go ahead for you to sign it? Okay.
Oh, and the statement was, I'm going to be real brief. I just want to thank each commissioner. You turn around. I want to thank each commissioner for, this is the moment. It's times like these we can't really prepare for in life, but it's times like these that we need to come together, and it doesn't matter if we're Republican, Democrat, whatever shade. It's human.
Independent.
You don't like
Human race. That's all that matters. And we're all humans, and we're going to be able to serve humans. And I know this is new to us because we're not always in the business of doing things like this. But lately, Caddo Parish Commission has been doing you know, the things that need to be done to help serve the citizens and for the greater good and for their need. And these people are in need. And so I just thank everybody in advance for this pulling together to make this happen, because it's necessary and God is watching.
Amen.
Commissioner Evers?
I pass.
Okay, no other questions or concerns? Let's vote.
Hey, God.
Basically the same motion, we just got to.
I